This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Parrott, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast.
Diggity dank.
Hello and welcome to another week of the Nightwing news. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is.
Hello, I'm Kristen.
That's great. We're recording this a few days before Christmas, so it'll go up on YouTube soon. But if you're listening on the podcast, welcome to 2021.
Yay!
That's right. The podcast will be the first episode of Nightwing News for 2021. All right. So before we get to our issues tonight, Action Comics Weekly issues, we're going to be covering. We got some news a few days ago. What's coming in March for the Nightwing ongoing series? Well, first of all, we found out it's going to be from 78 forward. It's going to be written by Mr. Tom Taylor, who I think he's done some. Is it Injustice? Some of the Injustice stuff. I know he's worked. He was doing Spider-Man over at Marvel not too long ago. So I like his writing. And then the artist is going to be Bruno Redondo, who I'm not familiar with, but just the samples I saw look pretty good.
Yeah, for sure they did.
Yep, and it looks like Barbara is going to be somewhat regular in the Nightwing books, and Nightwing's getting a dog.
A three-legged dog.
That's right.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe Batgirl's not gonna have an ongoing, or at least they haven't announced it yet. What else have they announced? I mean, obviously Detective and Batman will keep going.
Yeah, they announced Batman stuff, Superman stuff. I forget who there. I think there's going to be like a new team on Green Lantern, which may even be focusing on Jon Stewart instead of Hal Jordan now. Trying to remember if they announced all the teams yet. I know they did Flash stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember who. I'm pretty sure they announced that a Harley Quinn something's coming, but yeah, no Batgirl.
Is Jason's picking back up? Is his getting restarted, or did his not get canceled? Red Hood.
Trying to remember. I'm not sure if they've announced yet.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, I wonder too, because I guess there's going to be like a new, I forget, is it monthly or every couple months? There's like going to be a new Batman family, like, what's it called? It's like, it's going to be like an anthology book. So it's going to be like, like a thicker size, kind of like the old Batman family, I guess.
Oh, okay. But now is it supposed to be new or is it reprints?
No, I think it's new stuff. So I wonder if like people like Jason and Barbara are going to be showing up over there too, maybe.
What's it called? Do you remember?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Let me bring it up.
I didn't see it, but obviously I love me some Batman family, so I'd be all about that.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Search Batman March 2021. Yeah, because they had a whole thing about all this stuff. We got. Come on, load already. Or is that one going to be difficult? They also announced that there's going to be a Joker solo series starting in March.
Wow, I don't think Joker's had his own book since the 70s.
I know, and I love how they're like, yeah, now the Joker's going to be the most wanted man in the world. And I saw everybody online was like, he's not. He hasn't been so far.
Yeah, as opposed to who else? Like, what?
Okay, I believe the name of the book is Batman Urban Legends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Did it say if it was monthly?
I'm looking. I thought they said maybe monthly. Yeah, the article I'm looking at, they pretty much announced everything Bat, so.
So it's Batman, Detective, Harley, Joker, Nightwing, Batman Urban Legends. Did
Yeah.
they say anything else?
I'm not seeing anything else. That might be it. Oh, did you see that? Did you see like that big picture of like all the characters? Oh, I think Catwoman might still. Is Catwoman still going? But did you?
Yeah. Isn't that supposed to come out in the Detective or something, or the Batman one that's coming out soon?
Oh,
Like
the
106 or something.
Oh yeah, Damien's gonna be a backup. Was it in Detective maybe? But no. Did you see the new suit Damien's wearing? It's like a black and gray suit, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, somebody commented on Damien in his pirate shirt.
Yes, Charlie Esser. He was like,
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Well, wait, is that for that book, or I thought that was supposed to be like the cover of Batman 106 or 105 or 107?
That's gonna be his costume going forward because he's not Robin. So
Interesting. Yeah, because Tim's supposed to be Robin. Has that officially? That has happened. Has he appeared?
I'm pretty sure because, like I said,
Is he one of the? He's one of the people that was. I just read it. He's one of the people that's captured in that Batman issue, isn't he? Or is
yeah, but I again remember some of the stuff we were reading. It seemed like it was supposed to be Damien, then they just changed it to Tim. So I guess unofficially it's okay. Here we go. I found the Batman Urban Legends stuff. Yeah, it's a monthly anthology series that will feature a roster of creative teams taking on stories set in Gotham City. The first 6 issues of Batman Urban Legends will be anchored by a Batman Red Hood story. Oh, by Chip Zdarsky. Oh my God, he's writing such good Daredevil right now over at Marvel. That's really good. Yeah, he writes some good stuff. Red Hood will be investigating a new and lethal drug sweeping through Gotham City. In the course of one night, this investigation will change his life forever and put him in Batman's crosshairs.
Oh snap!
And that character, I'm not too familiar. Grifter, I'm just like, who cares? And then they'll have a Harley Quinn story in the anthology, but it's set before the new ongoing Harley Quinn series. Yes, there is a new Harley Quinn ongoing coming. So
I usually don't get the Harley. We usually don't get the Harley Quinns. So.
I was out of it for a while, but I picked up like the tail end of this last series, so I'm probably gonna at least give it a try. Oh boy, Batman Urban Legends will be released in prestige formats series and will retail for $7.99. It's gonna be big.
It.
It's gonna be big in page count and price, people.
Hate it when they do that.
Yes, and the first issue will release March 16th, which I believe is also the same week Nightwing comes out.
All right.
So, yeah. So I don't know what Red
So
Hood.
it sounds like they're paring the books down though overall across DC. I mean, I assume they're going to have a Justice League. Are they having a Teen Titans book?
Yeah, I think they're doing like Titans Academy. So I don't know if it's going to be every issue, but it sounds like the original Titans are going to be teaching some of the kids. So I don't know if like Dick's going to be in and out of that book too.
Oh, I wonder if it'll be like when Jeff Johns revived Teen Titans. Remember, or when after they switched from Titans Young Justice to Outsiders, and it was like Corey and stuff.
But it sounds like what they were doing a few years ago over at Marvel with Avengers Academy. It's going to be like them teaching the next generation of heroes and stuff.
Sounds like it has potential.
Yeah. I can't wait for that Nightwing. Like I said, story looks good. Art looks good.
For sure.
And I was reading Batgirl, so hey, added bonus, Batgirl. Who they said Barbara will be probably going back and forth between being Batgirl and Oracle, so.
Which is cool. The only thing that makes me a little bit sad about that is not necessarily that well, part of the reason that people like Oracle so much is it was something different.
Yes.
And she was in a wheelchair but still kicking butt and taking names, and that was really important because I guess Professor X, but I don't think DC, but he's in Marvel. I don't think DC has any other heroes in a wheelchair.
I don't think any no.
And certainly they don't have anybody as high profile as Oracle, so that's kind of the bummer that they took they took something away that made her special on a number of levels, because there's plenty of capes that can kick butt, and there's plenty of people who are really good with computers, but someone who was smart and awesome and didn't let her limited mobility, because people would think, well, how can you be a hero if you can't walk? Wrong, you can be. So that was something that really made her special.
They had to reboot everything, all these classic characters during New 52. I was all afraid when they announced New 52 that they were going to make Dick Robin again, but
nah, they have too many
oh yeah.
They couldn't reboot it all that way because they have too many intellectual properties now, and you make more money off stuff like Nightwing t-shirts and Nightwing face masks and Nightwing banks than you do off of Nightwing comics. I think
they could be doing more merchandise with Nightwing. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Well, like I said, it's sad, but also just think of it as being good for your savings, Phil.
True.
Fewer Nightwing items on the market means you can retire earlier.
All right. So should we get to the issues tonight?
Yes.
All right. I have synopsis.
Here's what they look like in a nice fat stack, because this, in fact, is an anthology book as well.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm reading. I bought the collection on DC, because DC Universe didn't have all the issues, so I had to go on Kindle and get the trade, the collection, which is called Old Friends, New Enemies.
Yep, it's a pretty good one though.
Yes, so we're gonna be covering the issues. We're covering are the Nightwing stories from Action Comics Weekly 613 through 618. August through September 1988, and issues 627 through 634 from November 1988 through January 1989.
Yep, and that's also a Nightwing and Speedy. Actually, they're both Nightwing and Speedy stories, but the first one is billed just as Nightwing, and then the second one's billed as Nightwing and Speedy. And it's kind of a lot, so I feel like we can't go through each one. But some of them there's not as much to go through, because actually in the second story, there's a couple of weekly issues that are just Speedy.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think, he got the billing, because there was a lot more Speedy solo stuff in that second.
The second one, yeah. I think the first one is much better. I shouldn't say much better. The first one's better than the second one. Here's the cover. Here's the cover of the first one, which I think might be the cover of the trade.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
To that.
It's a lot more Nightwing centric too. So of course
it's a lot more Nightwing centric. Well, and I think that the first one was written all by Marv Wolfman, and the second one he helped plot it, but someone else wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
And this is really Marv Wolfman in his prime.
Oh yeah.
When Marv Wolfman was writing New Teen Titans, he was amazing. And I'm sure he's done plenty of other amazing things, but when he came back and they had him write that kind of weird storyline in Nightwing where it was that was not classic Marv Wolfman. That was, and I don't know if he came up with that idea or if they were like, Marv, we need you to come up with yet another story where Dick is being sexually violated. Why are there so many stories like this? But that's what they had him do. But man, Marv Wolfman in the 80s was on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Because right at the tail end of New Titans, there's some stuff that happens to Dick, like being raped by Mirage. That's not so fantastic, but this stuff, it's great. It's perfection.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know about all of these, but some of them I have quick synopsis for each issue. Like, the first one, 613, the Cheshire contract.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth going through the first one in more detail than the second version, because there's a couple of, depending on the little corners of the internet where you lurk, there's a couple famous panels in the first one that are, but the first two, I think, in particular. So yeah, we've got starts out Nightwing busting up some drugs, I think, or no, cigarettes. cigarettes. And
Well,
then he...
Well, yeah, because I was going to say I have a quick paragraph here. Yeah, it's because it says in New York City, Nightwing rounds up a group of smugglers with the timely assistance of friend and fellow Titan Speedy. Later at Titan's Tower, Speedy tells Dick the Central Bureau of Investigation needs his help to track down Cheshire, the mother of Speedy's child, who has been hired to kill some ambassadors and stop a treaty between the U.S. and Russia. Dick wants to call in his fellow Titans, but the Bowman states that he can't, that it has to be just Nightwing. The pair fly to Washington, D.C. and meet with a man who tells them the first hit is in London. In England, Cheshire takes aim at her target, but sees Speedy and Nightwing before she can pull the trigger. To herself, the killer says the Bowman has got in her way long enough, and even though he may be the father of her daughter, that won't save him now.
Yeah. So that's it lays it all out. I just wanted to point out, as I said, depending on where you hang out in the internet, there's some famous panels from this. Namely, we have some beefcake where Dick's taking a shower while Speedy sits around outside his room. And then this cracks me up, but I super duper love Dick getting his Nightwing costume out of the washing machine.
I know.
I just think that's so funny.
And even his robe is like the same blue.
I know, and he has like official Titans bathrobe.
Yeah.
Which I also love. And also, why does DC not sell that?
I know.
I think another missed branding opportunity, official Teen Titans bathrobes. And his hilarious little white slippers. I love it.
But the Central Bureau of Investigation, I'm assuming that's a cross between the CIA and FBI.
Yeah, or just so they don't get in trouble with Irvin. Also, I love his outfit that really kind of harkens back to both what Burt Ward wore and looks forward to the outfit that, although it's a sweater vest in Batman the Animated Series. So, yes, that's the highlights for that one. I think it's number 2. Hold on, I gotta find it in here.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to tell the difference between some of the issues. Well, if I read through it, I can pretty much tell. But
the second one starts when they pop up in London.
The trade is kind of it has the title, but they don't show all the covers because since there was multiple stories in each Action Comics Weekly, Nightwing.
Yeah, most of the covers are not Nightwing and Speedy, actually.
Yeah, because
it's just the first and the last one on this one, which this is a pretty sweet.
Yeah, because like a lot of this issues have like Green Lantern and Superman in them, and
this one has one of them has Wild Dog on it.
Yeah, Phantom Stranger looks like a Catwoman story in this one. Yeah, Black Canary. Yeah, so. They were little. What did it say? Oh yeah, 48 pages every week. So you got a bunch of like short stories, like you said, with all these characters in them.
Yeah.
But the only we care about is Nightwing.
Yep. So then this is part of why I had to read it, because depending on the parts where you go on Tumblr, this panel is really famous, and it's the panel where Roy is talking about how he met Jade when he was on a CBI assignment in Japan, and he says, I wasn't in love, but it was lust. And then he found out later it was a kid. And Dick says, I gotta be honest, Roy, I couldn't make love to someone I didn't really love. And then Roy says, different strokes, pal. You'll probably go to heaven while I'll sport a perpetual tan. And that panel, like a lot of people who don't like that Dick has become, I would say since the 90s when he moved out of the Titans and into his own book, he's had more sexual partners than he had in all the years before that. There's some people that are like, look at this panel. He shouldn't be having all these girlfriends. And you're like, well, that was like back in the 80s. And I think it's kind of a change. I think it's kind of a changing reflection of, I think the comics code is over by this point, but I think it's kind of a reflection of our society and how, because, it was a big deal when there's that one issue where Dick and Corey are in bed together, like they're just literally in bed together sleeping. And I think it's a couple things. I think as we moved into the 90s and 2000s, people have become way, way more chill with premarital sex and casual sex. Not to say that people weren't. I mean, certainly they were more chill with it in the 80s than they were in the 50s. With talking about it, people have always been chill with having it. But talking about it. But I kind of wonder if it's also a function of how, since Corey, Dick hasn't been in a book, he's mostly been in solo books, and so it's kind of a different dynamic, because I think I've said before that I think in terms, not that it really matters, it's not like these people are real, but if I had to pick, I would put Dick with Barbara, partially because I like Dick being particularly involved with the Batman family and hanging out with Batman. And I think it just makes more sense if he's more of a bat to be with Barbara, because it's easier with the secret identity and all that kind of stuff. But I really do think that his relationship with Corey was better written. And maybe better written's not quite what I'm looking for, but it was, I don't know, it just didn't seem as, there were plenty of pieces of drama, but also in this story later on, there's times when he's just like, oh, Corey, I love you so much. And they just talk on the phone, and it's just like happy chat. And they just like hold hands while they're walking out of the airport. And that's it. And it's just kind of chill and not always like so intense and dramatic. And I feel like since he's had his own solo series, it's like up the ante. I don't know. I just kind of wonder if it's a function of him dating someone who's on his team, and then both being major characters and being written by the same author, that makes it more of a, because it's more of the kind of relationship I think you would want to be in, because they show them just hanging out. Whereas some of the times when he was in his relationship with Barbara, we have a few issues where it's really calm and stuff. But then we also have tons of issues where it's like, we're on a date and then someone comes along and beats us up.
Yeah, I think the whole thing with Corey is, I think they were together for a longer stretch of time, so Marv was able to flesh that out more. And again, it was one writer. Whereas with Barbara, I think that they're always like on again, off again, or there's something going on. And they're, by the time we get to like the early 2000s, there was how many different writers trying to write those two.
Right. Now, I just think you can definitely notice a difference in how they write the relationship in it. And maybe it's just a function of the 80s as well. But yeah, I just think I liked it better with Barbara, but if I were going to say the way it's depicted in the comics, the relationship with Corey, there are more of those just kind of like casual, hey, we're just hanging out moments that I feel like it's more what you would want in your relationship than, oh, here we go, let's save Gotham City again.
I think you can make a case for most of them that he was, even if it was just on a smaller level, he was in love or thought he was in love with most of them. But like, there's certain ones, like, what was that fashion designer Cheyenne or whatever, that was supposed to be Jason in the book. Remember, that's when they were going to kill Dick off, but then they decided not to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that was just them turning around and say, okay, no, it's still Dick. But that storyline was written for Jason. That's why that whole thing went down.
And then Jason got turned into a tentacle monster. That storyline really did not work for anyone.
No. Again, because they had to change everything.
Yeah. And that isn't necessarily, So I think you've got some more of this kind of stuff, more writers doing different things. But I don't know. I also just think that maybe because it was so long-term, that there are times in their relationship when they're just depicted as like being chill and calm. And I don't know, it seems like it got a chance to be fleshed out better into the kind of like fun, not dramatic aspects of their relationship. And you don't get to see as many of those with the other people he dates, because he was technically with Corey in over 10 real people years.
Oh,
which is a long time. So yeah.
And like you said, again, it's not bad. She wasn't bad family, and it was probably different than anything he had known up at that point. Because Barbara is so much like him and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And again, one writer for like 10 years. So of course he had time to really flesh out their relationship too.
Yeah, I just think it's better. It's better presented. In the comics, and maybe it's just because of what I look for, but there are definitely way more that's cute moments.
But enough with the female relationships. Okay, because
I know, because that's actually not the point. But anyway, I just kind of, when I reread this, I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a famous panel that people pop around on the internet a lot. And then, but some other stuff reminded me.
But I was gonna say, since the focus is him and Speedy, what did you think about the interplay between him and Speedy?
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the one where he says we're alike? But was that in the first one? Did we skip over that? He says something about we're a lot alike, but we're also a lot different.
Oh yeah, I forget where that's at. Because
because it's kind of hard to tell who's talking because you can't see them; you just see the bubbles. But one thing I thought was interesting was because, I'm more quiet and you're much more extroverted. Which is very interesting because I think, a lot of times, of course, when you read Bat Family books, Dick gets portrayed as, way extrovert. He's extroverted for a bat, I guess. But yeah, I mean, someone like Speedy, he's much more extroverted than.
It's kind of hard to remember because I read this whole collection at one time, so it all kind of blurred together.
But also, let's just pause for a minute to appreciate Roy and Jade's amazing 80s leather outfits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was 88.
That's some quality stuff right there.
And their hair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's got that orange mullet going on.
Oh, yeah. That's some quality stuff right there. That is classic 80s. Classic. All right. Now let me find it. Oh, you know what else is sad? You probably didn't see this because, well, I assume they don't have the advertisements in there. But all throughout this whole thing were the advertisements for Jason, what ultimately kills Jason. And that was kind of sad.
Death in the family. Oh, that's right. Oh, so, all right, this drops in January. Stay tuned, kids, because Wolf and I are going to be covering that too, so.
Yeah, so, all right, then the third one, Dick is chatting it up. He's on his sweet new motorcycle.
Tracks of a killer.
Yep, he's tracking. Wow, he's tracking Roy while Roy is tracking Jade.
Yeah.
Essentially. Oh, yes. And then we get the big reveal because Roy was like, you can't tell the Titans. But Dick is like, something's going on. So he calls the Titans, and then Danny reveals Roy doesn't work for the CBI anymore.
He got fired a few months ago.
That's right. And that ends us on a cliffhanger. Ooh.
Yep.
So he's like, this is something else, something personal. Then we get Roy there. See, again, another advertisement for.
Yeah. But I love him like skulking in the shadows. Meanwhile, he's wearing like that red and yellow costume. It's like, okay.
Right. Well, and then he walks too loudly. Sorry. Okay. So this is Dick. Yeah, come here. This is Dick tracking down Speedy. Then he busts in to stop the fight with Jade, and we get another intense cliffhanger. Looks like Jade's about to scratch Nightwing with her poisonous claws.
Oh yeah, they're like fighting in a bar.
No, I think they're fighting at her house.
Was that the house? 'Cause I know he was looking for information in a bar.
Yeah, he was at the bar, but now he's at her house. He puts a little thing on her. Yes, he's at her. Well, Oh no, you're right. He is still at the bar.
Yeah, because she comes barging in.
He comes in the bar, right, and then she jumps in her car. Right, okay. He put the tracking device on her at the bar. Then they follow her in a motorcycle, and boom, Dick busts in.
Yeah, because he looks like he's retreating, so she jumps in her car and leaves. Yeah, and then he's in the helicopter with the guy from Scotland Yard. Yeah, so she can see them. Because once he tracks them, he comes crashing in the window to save Speedy.
And then Cheshire scratches Roy a bit and leaves. And what does she leave behind? Leon. Is that how you would pronounce that?
I think so. It's funny here because it's like she has, Roy's red hair, but like in every like modern story I remember, it's like she had dark hair like her mother.
Yeah, I think then later they were like, oh, maybe she would probably really have dark hair. So that's what they did. All right, Roy, he's okay. Woo! And
yep.
Now he gets to be with Leon.
Yeah, look at that that splash page at the, with Nightwing holding Leanne.
I know, it's cute.
Dick can charm any woman, no matter how young or old she is.
Yeah, well, Roy can charm Leon too. She's pretty stoked.
Yeah. Oh, but I love when Dick tracks down Jade and has the gun in his hand.
Yes. He tracks her down to Big Ben again. We're coming full circle, right back where it all started. And she's like, I'll detonate it. He's like,
and she's like, you don't think I'm stupid enough to think that you're actually going to shoot me? And he's like, yeah, because she must have said something about him being like Batman. He's like, no, I'm not like Batman. He's like, I don't have a fear of guns. And yeah, I get that panel him shooting her, but then he still used anesthetic darts. So
yeah, but yeah, she's like, you shot me. I was like, it's an aesthetic dart. Yeah, you were right. There has to be a difference between us. It can be narrowed, but never lost. Never.
I mean, it was dramatic. I liked it. It set us apart from Batman, but all I heard was like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Ow, you shot me, you a-hole.
Yeah, I mean, he's lucky that she didn't put it, because it's like, yeah, of course that's the thing. It's like obvious. I mean, even when they did that, I'm like, yeah, he's obviously going to shoot her with like a rubber bullet or a wooden bullet or a dart or something, like, duh.
I mean, I guess they want that split second of, oh, did he actually did it?
Well, I mean, I guess if she gives her pause just for a second to, throw some villain monologuing at him, then that gives you time to So that's good. Then, of course, look at that ridiculous outfit that they have Leon in at the end with that weird thing on her head.
I know. She looks like a baby doll. I know.
I know. It's not that weird thing on her head.
Yeah, like you said, Dick goes home, and then Corey meets him at the airport.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, that's some of the cute stuff that they have. She's just like, because although that guy, hilarious dude in the background, that random other passenger who's seeing them kissing, he's like, and then he's like, that I think is the.
Well, maybe that guy recognized Corey too, because wasn't she like modeling or something?
Yeah, she was a famous model. Yeah. That's brilliant. And I like how Dick says, he used to envy me because he thought I was so together. I used to envy him because he was so open and carefree. How little we know about even our closest friends. But there's something I do know, Corey. Coming home to you was very important to me. Being with someone you love, with someone you trust, is really all that's important. Coriander, I love you. I really do love you. Like, aw, that's so cute. Aww. It is. Then, I don't know, they were more open about, I don't know, maybe they thought, maybe the target audience of the Teen Titans stuff was more into that kind of thing. I don't know, but that was good stuff there.
But yeah, I like we said, I really like this. Yeah, that was the first story. I like that one better than the second one. I mean, second one wasn't bad, but this one was more Nightwing centric. I like the art in this first one too, but better.
The other thing is the first one was simpler because I will admit I know a fair amount about the Troubles in Northern Ireland, but they used made up groups and it was sometimes confusing because there's like the pro free Northern Ireland and there's a pro British side and then there's these drug dealers and then there's the corrupt CBI and British Lord guy. And I really feel like that was actually not entirely.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they explained it at all. It was just
they did not.
It was just like two sides are fighting. Oh, they're bad. Oh, well, you're traitors. You're bad. And it's like they never really go into like why these two sides are fighting or.
Right. Well, I mean, the two sides are fighting. I assume because it's over. Should Northern Ireland remain part of the UK, or should Northern Ireland? Yeah. But since it's made up groups, and they're kind of trying, I feel like they're deliberately trying not to explain it too much, so that they, I don't know, won't offend anybody. And then like how, I mean, I guess the CBI guy and Lord Danvers were just trying to make money dealing drugs and were somehow funneling it through. But yeah, it was. I think that was my main problem with the second one was it was very convoluted.
I don't know if it was like is a product of its time, late 80s. You're supposed to know what's going on over there. Like I'm saying, like if someone like a kid picks this up today and doesn't know about, Ireland, I don't think you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be like, I don't know why they're fighting. They're just fighting, You're gonna be like, which side is the bad guys? Wait, I don't.
Right, and I guess maybe they're trying to say they're both bad because they're both killing people, but that's fine. I can get behind that. But then it's like the true villains were the guy whose name Lord Danvers and then the American guy, Sepulveda, maybe. I have to go back and look really quick. And they were the real bad guys.
Yeah.
But that was tied up really quickly right at the end. They were like, oh yeah, it's that guy. Boom. Okay, done. Like, wait, what?
And like we said, it was Marv Wolfman and then Sherry Wilkerson, who I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I feel like the problem with this one was they had too many irons in the fire and then they didn't fully explain them all. They just kind of wrapped it up quick. Because when I got to the penultimate one, I was like, am I missing an issue? How is this going to get wrapped up in one more? And then it was wrapped up and I thought,
well, it's weird because like the whole thing is, it opens up with like, Roy and Dick on this ship and Roy's going to like his ancestral home in Ireland. Yeah. And we build. And then is it the penultimate issue? I think it's like all of a sudden, like he leaves he like leaves and it's like.
It's resolved really fast.
The first couple issues set a certain pace. Then like between that one, like, the one part and the penultimate, the pace all just goes, woo! And it's like,
I think that was the thing was as long as it like maybe they were, I don't know, were they planning on it being longer and it got cut or else they needed to like simplify some of it. But yeah, it's too much for too short. Yeah, it really felt like.
Yeah. Because I don't know, like Detective Action Comics Weekly, I don't know how long it was, if they had planned for it to go as long as it did, because I think it only went to 642 or something. But I don't know if they planned for it to go longer. Maybe they were like, oh, yeah, you guys got to wrap everything up by, 642 or 43. So,
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, here we've got some other stuff like Dick says, I know my roots back for many generations. Circus performers, acrobats, clowns. The Graysons go all the way back to 18th century England. So some other stuff, just like Leon's hair color that's been retconned and played with.
Yeah, again, Marv Wolfman set stuff up, and then once Dick goes back to the back family, I guess they retcon stuff that doesn't, fit their
Well,
thing.
I mean, it's not to say that you can't, be Romani people live in England, so it kind of works. It's just interesting how they're just kind of like do some generic stuff. Although actually, isn't it in the second one where for people who don't know, they have like a recap of, or is that the first one?
What?
They have a recap of Roy's like, you got fired. And he's like, I didn't get fired.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the first one, actually.
Yeah, because this is only like 2 years after the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths. A lot of in this period, a lot of times people don't even know what's canon and what's not. So, because doesn't he say here? Doesn't he go with the pre-Crisis thing where it's like, oh, he gave Jason the suit and stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of which is the one that Marv wrote. He kind of tries to. All right, maybe it isn't the second one.
Yeah, but like that first like year or two after Crisis, yeah, like they scrambled so much. Even in the Bat books, it's like they didn't know what was canon, and they were just kind of like flying by.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because they're kind of trying to explain it both ways. Both ways. I think. Yeah, where the heck was that?
I don't know if they were just trying to settle on the canon. Was that the first?
Yeah, I think he was like, he's like, Batman fired you. He's like, he didn't fire me. I quit.
Yeah, I think he was kind of trying to be generic and trying to, like, he could go with either origin, because I don't know if at this point which one was going to stick.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, eventually, yeah, I mean, but yeah, in the first issue of this part, they're like, in 627, they're on the boat, and then stuff was already going down on the boat and in the water. So eventually, Dick's like, oh, I'm gonna, he leaves to go to, he heads back to the United States, and then Roy continues his trip to the ancestral home after someone tries to kidnap Leon.
Of course, I know Leon gets kidnapped so many times in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I think the third part and the fourth part and possibly the fifth part are all just Roy.
Yeah, because after the whole adventure on the train, he makes it to the ancestral home, and there's 2 orphaned girls living there.
Yeah. Yeah, and he saves them, Moira and Button. And then you start getting some of the background where you know that there's the foes and the Santas, and there's supposed to be different groups in Northern Ireland, and they've hurt the girls.
But this hunter guy at first, for a little while at first, I was like, wait, is this going to be like Dick in disguise or something? Because they seem to be doing a lot of this guy, and like Dick's nowhere to be found. I'm like,
right, yeah.
But then
Dick shows back up.
I know Dick just like shows back up. He's riding in the car with Roy and the girls, yeah. And then Roy's driving, so Dick has to pick up the bow and arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's those ones that are just Roy.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, it's cool and Roy looks good, but there was like lots of complicated stuff that I didn't totally understand. Or that isn't completely
and then is it this issue? Yeah, like 630. Is it 632? I think. Yeah, like when the one girl's in the hospital and her little sister Button's with her and stuff. Like Dick and Roy are in the hospital. I'm like, where's Leanne at?
Right. Yeah, and I guess she's supposed to be with that woman.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Mrs. Sebastian, I think, but yeah.
That wasn't Mrs. Sebastian in the hospital, though? Because she's there with the other 2 girls. I'm like, where's Leanne at?
Right, yeah. Yes. That was, because I was kind of like, oh, hey, did she get kidnapped? But apparently kidnapped again.
I mean, I guess with these short stories, they don't have a lot of extra pages for, it's like you got to get to the point.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
But yeah, this second story, each issue is credited Nightwing and Speedy.
Yep.
But yeah, where's when they fly into Washington D.C. and then like they get picked up. Was that by the CBI? Yeah, by that Sepulveda or whatever. I'm like, wait, so like Dick's not wearing a disguise or anything. I'm like, so the CBI knows Dick Grayson is Nightwing?
I guess. Well, one of the things I think that's such And
they just don't care.
Yeah, well, they refer to each other as Dick and Roy all the time.
Yeah.
In these issues. So
unless they think that's an alias, they're like, yeah, who calls himself Dick anymore? That's such an old-fashioned name.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, they can see his face. I'm like, wouldn't it be that hard to put two and two together?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that's Sepulveda, who, I guess Roy never got along with. He sets them up.
Yep.
Like they're trying to. I wonder if Marv just set up the first couple issues of this story, because by the time you get to the one issue, it just says that Sherry or Cherry Wilkerson.
Yeah, because he's just yeah. And it's not that it's bad. I think it just gets too complicated with some of the Northern Ireland stuff.
Yeah,
and
then all of a sudden you have to like shift abruptly to Washington D.C. It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Because they're in Washington D.C. and they get the last one. They're like, "Come with us." Oh no, wait. Yeah, come with us. Yeah, you're right. They're are taken while they're just regular looking, and then they pop out with their outfits. Okay, yeah, the Santas are for Ireland's freedom. That dude picks him up again, and then it's like, you're both under arrest. That's how the second one ends. You're like, wait, what's going to happen? And then somebody from the CBI comes out and is like, oh, hey, dudes. You guys are coming with us. We know who's behind. We know Sepulveda's involved with the drug shipments, but we don't know who's behind him. And Dick and Roy are like, oh, yeah, we know who that is. It's Lord Danvers. So then, boom, it's solved.
So in some of these issues, did they get quote unquote 2 chapters? Because in this story, it seems like it goes up to like 9 chapters, but there wasn't like 9 issues for this story.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was one. There is a couple where they get 2 chapters. You're right.
So again, I wonder if there was them. They were running out of issues, so they had to get the story done, or maybe somebody else wasn't ready, for something coming up. So they're like, yeah, we'll just put 2, you guys have all your stuff done, we'll just put 2.
Yeah, there's chapters. Wait, was it? Maybe the first one is chapters. Oh yeah, there's chapters 1 and 2 in the first one.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense, because it's like 9 chapters but 8 issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole thing in Ireland, but then at the end it turned, it's like, dirty spies, and like that Sepulveda gets taken in, and Lord Danvers. Because if it's politics, it's one thing, but then it seems like they were doing the whole thing with everything going on in Ireland, and all of a sudden it abruptly shifts and goes to like, oh, we got corrupt spy, the head of the spy organization, and this Lord Danvers, and it's like all of a sudden you just like drop the politics, and it's just like a spy thing. It's like, what?
Yes. Yeah, because that's how they end it, is like, oh, we need to know who's the dude who is now I can't find where it was that he was trying to explain how he broke up with Bruce. Was that I thought that was in the second story. Was it at the end of the first one?
Like I said, I don't remember. Here, maybe I'll try to flick through here. But yeah, it's hard for me to remember because I just got the trade digitally, and I just got the whole thing at one time. So it all kind of blurs to me.
Yeah. That's in there.
I mean, if it's in the second one, probably in that first issue or so. Because, in the middle, there's a lot of Roy in the middle.
Right. But yeah, I think that's the big thing that makes it feel weird, is it's like so much with the Northern Ireland stuff, and then boom, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, Either story would have been good, but it just seems like the Ireland stuff just abruptly gets dropped, and it's like, except for like the girls, it's like not brought up again, except for like, oh yeah, these two shady guys were.
Oh right, sorry, it's in the very first one. I remembered it. It's in the first one of the first story.
Okay, so
yeah, sorry, because when Roy's talking about, I was fired. Oh yeah, where they're talking about the same page where he's taking his stuff out of the washing machine, and he's like, "We're similar and different. You're outgoing. I'm far quieter." They're like, "Yeah, but we've both been wards of millionaires, and we were rejected, fired by them." Dick says, "Hey, I wasn't fired by Batman. I quit." "I'm sorry, Dick. I heard he let you go, then hired some kid to take your place." "That's not the full story, Roy. Hell, I was almost out before we began fighting. I'd gone off to college, quit, came back, joined the Titans. I wasn't Robin any longer. I had to be my own. I think Batman knew it too. Fact is, Roy, ever since his parents were killed, he's had a problem with rejection. Batman knew I wanted to leave. I think he began fighting with me to make my leaving easier. That way he could reject me before I rejected him."
You know what confused me about that too? In the trade, if you get the Old Friends, New Enemies trade, in the beginning, before the Action Comics issue, you get the Nightwing story from Secret Origins 13.
Oh, okay.
And then that one, they show him handing the suit to Jason,
Okay, yeah. Well, which that doesn't preclude that happening here. And actually, interesting, I wonder if he remembered it. I mean, because he wrote it, but I was just putting comics away, and I got out the Robin 80th Spectacular that was not the one that had the like $10 one. Yeah. And, there's that first one that Wolfman wrote that was the Nudge, which is basically what happened here. Like, Bruce was kind of being a little bit of a jerk, and his thinking was like, I'm nudging Dick out of the nest, and he's like, I gotta leave, and it goes off. So it actually, I think Marv has like pretty consistently still followed his version that he originally wrote, which is the somewhat less angsty version. And then Dick says, I didn't say anything because I care for Bruce more than almost anyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Roy, that's how it happens. He says, at least from my point of view, Batman might say something altogether different.
But the second one ends almost like the first one ends. I mean, while Dick and Roy are sitting there playing with Leanne, Corey's sitting there too.
Yep. Yes, it has a nice name. Yeah, the art's not quite as good at the end of that one. And Danvers ended up getting in trouble after all.
Yep.
So everyone's good. The end. Yep. That's a wrap.
Why can't I seem to zoom in on this? I don't know. I don't like the Kindle interface, at least on the computer, as much as like DC Universe or the Marvel Unlimited stuff.
So you didn't get it through Comixology? You had to get it through Kindle?
I got. Like you can get it on. You have to buy. You have to get it through the Kindle, I guess. Like, but you can. I guess I could open it because I think you can link the Comixology thing, but maybe that would have been better. Yeah, I just downloaded the Kindle app for this computer, but
fair enough.
But yeah, like I said, DC Universe. I think they had some of the. I don't know if they even had all the issues for the first story, but they had like some of them. Oh,
did they? I wasn't even sure if they had Action Comics Weekly on there.
They did. They had a few. Like I think they had 613, and I think they might have had like one or two for the second story. But yeah, they didn't have like all of them. So
yeah, it's good to sort it by.
Like I said, if you want to find the complete story for both of these, Nightwing, old friends, new enemies. Like I said, I found it on Kindle digitally. It was Amazon had some physical copies, so
there you go. But it's a good one, particularly the first one. It's a good one because the first story it's less confusing.
I know there's
it's a simple like thwarting Cheshire, but also Roy getting his daughter back.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're probably your dad's comics, but I'm jealous. I would love to have like a complete run of the Action Comics weekly issues. Like I only have one issue of Action Comics Weekly, and it's not it. There's
No, actually, these ones are mine. I bought that off eBay, I think, when I got back into comics, because the only Action Comics Weekly I have are these ones we just read. I just have those.
I think I only have one issue, and it's none of the Nightwing stuff. So yeah. Because I was thinking about buying them, but then I saw this trade. It was still cheaper to get it in this trade than get it the individual issues.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So anything else on this one?
I think that's it. It's a pretty good one.
Yep. Yes, and it is. Highly recommend. Just pulling up the schedule here for the rest of the month of January. All right. Let's see. So, like I said, Kristen kept bringing up the Death in the Family ads. Lilith and I are going to be covering that. So, if you're listening to us on the podcast, I'm coming up on Monday after this. Yeah, Death in the Family. So, how's that for timing?
Pretty good.
See, we got you. All right. Oh, next week, Action Comics 771.
So no weekly to it, just Action.
The regular Action Comics issue. Yes, it's a Superman Nightwing team up. I believe from the early 2000s. Then we get Superman 700.
Yeah, which really we're only concerned with one.
Well, Batman. Superman team up with a young Dick Grayson. Yes. Then to tie up the month, Grayson Annual number 2, another Dick Grayson Superman team up. So
rockin'.
You see what I kind of
There's actually no Superman in this. You would think Action Comics, but it's Action Comics Weekly. But it's Dick and Roy, which is fun.
I was going to say, yeah, Superman was technically in these issues, but not in the Nightwing story. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I was going to say, if you get the individual issues, yeah, you'll get some Superman, but yeah, not with Dick Grayson. All right. So should we get out of here?
Yep. I think we've said all there is to say.
Oh, yeah. All right, everyone. So, yes, there's your homework. Action Comics 771, Superman 700, and Grayson Annual 2. Those all have Dick Grayson and Superman. So send your thoughts on all of those. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Nightwing News on Facebook, Twitter. We have our Bloodhaven Bulletin, the Nightwing fan group, so on Facebook. So go check that out. You can watch this video on YouTube. Find links to everything we do all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support our sponsors, Tweaked Audio and Hunt a Killer. Use the code Southgate for both of those for a handy discount. And for those of you who love the read, which should be all of you, pick up Pod Life, the book, now in digital and paperback, volume 1. Learn the ins and outs of podcasting. And if that is not enough, go on Amazon and pick up Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder. If you're a fan of Nightwing, yes, you'll love that book. If you're a fan of anything Dick Grayson, you'll love that book. And when you're on Amazon to get that, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the Southgate Media Group Network, and that international man of mystery, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. You're weak sauce. Why did your eye drift over to my box?
And Kristen has no plugs because she doesn't need to. She put together Dick Grayson, Boy Wonder, so.
Phil's the official hype man.
Oh, please. Everyone else I work with their own hype machine. This one's like, All right, everyone. So, yes, 2021 opens with a bang. Come back next time for Action 771. Nightwing, Superman, Inner Gang. believe it's also guest written by Chuck Dixon. So yeah, it's around the time he wrote Nightwing. So
We'll find out.
So if you like that late 90s Nightwing, yeah, you'll like this issue. And again, send your thoughts, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Once again, join us next time. Same wing time.
Same wing channel.
The Nightwing News. The Nightwing News.